All my life, I have underestimated the power of having a success mindset. I just thought, okay, if I learn the most effective ways of doing things, if only I learned 70 habits of highly effective people, that's enough. And man, was I wrong. Here are some of the things I want to highlight after reading the book You Are a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. Attitude is the most important when it comes to attaining anything in life, and money is no exception. Today I'm going to talk about the steps to creating a mindset for success that will allow you to be a badass at making money. What is your reason for success? Whoever we are, we need money in order to be able to experience our most authentic selves. For a painter, it means having enough money to buy paint. For a software engineer, it could mean having the money to buy the latest gadgets, or maybe even his own software company. For everyone, the basic requirement is food, warm clothes, and a home. So in order to be happy, we have to make sure our basic needs are met. And on top of that, the luxuries that are specific to who we are. And all of that requires money. Back in the day when I worked in sales at a suit store, I had a manager named Brian. And he was a huge dude. His biceps were the size of my thighs. And my thighs were pretty big because I was a short distance runner back then. I was done my shift one day and I passed by Brian's office and I saw that he had a picture of the biggest biceps I've ever seen as his background image on his phone. So I asked him why he had that as his background image. He said it gave him motivation because every time he looked at his phone, he sees an image of what he wants his own biceps to look like. I think we all need something like that to remind us every day to do the things necessary to achieve our goals. So what I want you to do right now is to picture what it would be like to live a perfect day in life. What time would you wake up? What would you be doing? If money is not an issue, how would you spend your day? Picture that perfect day and ask yourself, how much money will I need to get there? The most successful people in the world all have daily rituals, kind of like the perfect day exercise. So find whatever works for you and make sure that you use it often. How successful you want to be is entirely up to you. So don't make excuses because if you spend your entire day on the couch, don't expect money to just rain down on you. Create a plan. Success isn't about where you're at, but it's where and who you decide you're going to be. I find that there are usually two groups of people out there. The first group has goals, but they aren't constantly reminded of these goals. So it sort of just sits at the back of their mind and action is never taken, so they never reach their goals. The second group of people have goals as well, and they're constantly reminded of it, but they don't make a plan on how to attain that goal. Or maybe the plan isn't working and they still continue doing the same things. So maybe they have a picture of biceps on their phone like my manager Brian, and they see it all the time. But they don't have a clear plan on how exactly they're going to get those muscles. They don't have a workout routine that's proven to gain muscle, and they don't have a diet plan to make sure they eat enough calories. All they're doing is essentially going to the gym every time they feel motivated, and end up going on the elliptical for an hour. So define your plan. Ask yourself how much money you will need to have the perfect life you've always wanted, and then plan out how exactly you're going to make that amount of money. If the plan isn't working as expected, look at the situation from a third person's perspective and figure out why it's not working. And then make alterations to the plan until you see progress. So once you have a goal on how much money you want, and after you set a plan on exactly how you're going to attain that money, remember, maintain a positive attitude. Let's say you are unemployed, broke, driving to a job interview, and you get into a car accident. Your car is totaled, you're not getting the job, and you need to buy a new car, making you further in debt. At that moment in time, it might seem like it's the worst thing that has ever happened. But can we really be sure that it's a bad thing? Years later, you might look back and realize that the accident saved you from taking a job you hated for one you found a week later that you still love to this day. Or maybe the EMT that came to your rescue ends up being the love of your life. Whatever happens, despite how bad it seems at the time, the truth is you have no way of knowing if it's really a bad thing unless you have the ability to foresee everything that happens in every circumstance for every different action you take. What I'm trying to say is the worst thing that happens to you today could actually be the best thing that has ever happened to you when you look back 2 years from now. And that is the truth. But I understand that in those moments when it seems like the world is ending, we can't always maintain such a clear head, and it's only natural to feel frustration, and it's all good. Just remember that after all our feelings are vented, there is nothing to be sad about because you really don't know if it's really a bad thing. So maintain a positive attitude because there really is no reason not to. That's all for today. Determine how much money you want, plan out exactly how you're going to get that amount of money, and then do it. And remember, whatever happens, don't let it discourage you. You are a badass. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and click subscribe if you're not subscribed yet so you can see new videos every week right when they come out. See ya!